Tonight, a CBS2 investigation has spurred state action even before our report has aired. State agents conduct the biggest raid ever on a Southern California car dealership, seizing thousands of documents in evidence. The raid is in direct response to Joel Grover's exclusive investigation. For 3 months, Joel and his team have been undercover at 14 car dealers across the city. And Joel is here tonight with the first of his reports. Joel.
Well, Ann and John, this is a story that some car dealers don't want you to see. At least 4 of them have threatened to pull their ads from Channel 2 if we aired this report. We've uncovered proof that some major dealers are ripping you off. We're about to show you what some car dealers don't want you to know. We live in the car capital of the world. Place with more cars than any other city and more car dealerships.
Nice, man.
Now come with us undercover.
They're fully loaded.
To one of the largest to see how they secretly overcharged us.
Wasn't the price originally less than that? Yeah.
How they're doing it to customers like you.
I want my money now.
How they're getting away with it every day.
$1,700 is a lot to me, sir.
Our story begins here at Gunderson Chevrolet, California's largest Chevy dealership, owned by the country's largest chain of car dealers, AutoNation. It was here that we uncovered evidence of massive fraud. We begin by sending this researcher to shop for a car.
What's this right here?
He picks out this Silverado truck and agrees to pay $25,000.
That includes everything.
But it doesn't include everything. When we go to sign the contract,
there's initials here, here.
The finance manager, Don Poteet, tells us our car includes a free theft protection program where they'll etch a number into our windshield.
And this is free?
But it wasn't free. Internal records show they tried to charge us over $900 for that theft protection program. That would have inflated the price of our car almost $1,000. Were we getting that option for free?
Absolutely not.
This Gunderson employee, who asked us to hide their identity, says the dealership secretly padded our contract.
It's stealing, it's taking money from people that they haven't agreed to give. And worse than that, they don't even know that it's been taken from them.
And it's happened a lot. We obtained copies of the dealership's own internal records, and we tracked down dozens of their customers. Most of them had no idea that they too had been overcharged. Customers like Pauline Nava, an unemployed new mother who bought this Altima at Gunderson.
We cleaned out our savings account for us to scrape up the money for the down payment.
Pauline agreed to pay $13,000 for her car. She didn't know they sold her a $1,500 extended warranty and a $1,700 theft protection program. By the time she signed her contract, the price was more than $19,000.
They should have asked us if that's what we wanted, but that's not what we wanted. What they did was they sign here, sign here, sign here, sign
and
here.
That's what happened to us when we sent in a second undercover researcher.
Yeah, it's cute.
To buy a Camaro.
Great.
She and the salesman agree to a price.
$21,405 at 4.9%.
4.9%.
It's a deal.
You have a new Camaro.
But the scam really begins
How you doing?
when our researcher meets this familiar face.
This one's initials and initials and...
Don, the finance guy. Suddenly, the $21,000 price we agreed to is now more than $23,000.
Shouldn't the total price of the car be the same, though?
It's less.
The price of the car is more, but Don tries to convince us it's less.
Instead of paying the 4.9 each year, you're only going to be paying 2.5%.
But to get that better interest rate, Don claims, we'll have to pay the bank a buy-down fee.
That's that buy down to get that down to the 2.5%.
It's absolutely a lie, and in fact, it's not even logical.
We never did get a better interest rate. The dealership's internal records show they were trying to charge us for a $1,300 extended warranty and nearly $600 of options that they didn't list on our contract as they should have. It's happened over and over to people like Robert Martinez. When he got his new truck at Gunderson, he had no idea they charged him $1,800 for accessories he didn't want.
It takes me a long time to earn, substantial amount of money, and here I go, I'm throwing it away.
But no one got tricked worse than William Garcia when he bought this Chevy van. He didn't know that Gunderson inflated his contract nearly $5,000.
No compré nada de accesorio.
because the finance manager had him sign a contract in English. It's California law that Spanish speakers like Garcia must be given a contract in Spanish.
Minorities were considered to be easy. It was known that this was a good source of people to do this to.
So how many customers have been ripped off by this one dealership?
Worst case scenario, 2,000 to 3,000.
And our insider says the head of the dealership knew all about the fraud.
More than one person on several occasions has directly informed the general manager.
Come on, guys. So we decided to pay a visit to Gunderson Chevrolet, and we brought along some of those customers. We'd like to talk to you. Remember Don, the finance guy?
No.
His boss quickly stepped in.
I'm Jim Hoban. I'm the general manager.
You have a lot of customers who feel ripped off. One got overcharged $4,000, one was overcharged $5,000.
Rip up our contracts and we'll go somewhere else.
This man is abuses because we don't speak good English.
Then we showed them our undercover tape.
Shouldn't the total price of the car be the same, though?
It's less.
Is that just a lie to get her to sign the contract?
I didn't lie to anybody. I'm not going to lie to anyone as a customer.
Do you think that what they have done to us is not a fraud? Is that a fraud?
Yes.
It is.
Minutes later, Don grabbed his briefcase.
Are you
That's what
running
I did.
away from all these people?
Not running away from anything.
Don is leaving here.
And he took off, leaving his boss to deal with the customers.
Are you going to give them refunds?
Absolutely. If you want to all come in my office.
So they all poured into the general manager's office.
I didn't want any options whatsoever.
And told him how they'd been ripped off.
$1,700 I was charged.
He promised them all that Gunderson Chevrolet would make good.
I'll get it resolved.
And the dealership has. Robert Martinez turned in his keys. So did William Garcia and Jaime Reyes.
That's just your down payment check back.
And they all got their money back.
I'm sorry.
As for the other customers, like Pauline Nava, Gunderson is giving her car new brakes and a touch-up for free.
That's the check for what I told you I'd give you.
And they gave her not one, but two refund checks, totaling $3,500. A nice consolation, but Pauline keeps wondering about all the other customers who still don't realize they too were taken for a ride.
It's just really sad. You can imagine how many thousands and thousands of dollars, millions of dollars people have been swindled out. And these are hard-working people.
The Department of Motor Vehicles, which licenses car dealers, has taken immediate action. Last week, we told the DMV about our investigation. On Friday, armed with a search warrant, 15 DMV agents raided Gunderson Chevrolet. They conducted their search before our story aired, so the dealership couldn't alter or destroy records. The DMV ended up carting off 20 file cabinets of contracts and records. The agency says it has never seen allegations of such widespread fraud at a single dealership.
Tonight, investigative reporter Joel Grover is undercover again to expose Southern California car dealers taking you for a ride.
Well, Ann and John, take a look at this. In the last year alone, we have received hundreds of these letters and phone calls from you, our viewers, complaining about car dealers. So we decided to go undercover to some of the places you told us about. We've uncovered what some car dealers don't want you to know.
It's leather seating. Ooh, nice. Oh, and the spoiler. It is nice. Jen, look at it. I like it.
For most of us, getting a new car is an exciting experience.
I really like it.
Why then do you sometimes end up feeling pressured?
Whatever it takes to make you happy.
And ripped off?
What will it take?
Until you can't stand it anymore.
I'm like trembling right now and I can't think straight.
The greedy and the dishonest dealers will never give up. They can make too much money by cheating people.
Our first trip is to Cerritos Nissan.
Quillen.
When we met Quillen Cryer, a sales manager.
Would it be all right if I saved you a couple of $1,000s?
Sure it would. So we let Quillen show us a new Pathfinder. Sticker price about $28,000. Quillen later tells us over a 5-year loan that $28,000 car will cost us $54,000. And the monthly payments would be huge.
Because you're looking at $725.
$725 a month?
The math works out. The numbers don't lie.
Don't lie. We figured out the payment should have been about $323 a month. nearly half what Quillen was telling us.
They've told a lie that's about, what, $350 a month?
Consumer advocate Mark Eskelson wrote the book, What Car Dealers Don't Want You to Know.
They were packing the price of the car and packing the monthly payments.
It's called payment packing, which means inflating the price of your car with options you didn't ask for. When we got our contract,
Cash, price, accessories.
they had packed it
$2,608.
with 2 accessories we didn't agree to.
This includes your alarm.
But we never agreed to buy an alarm. We found other dealers doing it too, like South Bay Toyota, where we went to buy a 4Runner
Dealer installed
and found an extra $1,800 in our contract for a security system we never asked for. And at Star Ford in Glendale, where we went to buy an Explorer, we noticed $800 in unwanted accessories.
What's the cash price accessories, the $800?
Well, he's broken it down here. I mean, I could.
The finance guy couldn't even explain it. So he printed up a new contract without the accessories charge. But watch closely.
Okay.
He slips that new contract in the trash, leaving us to sign the original one with the extra $800 on it.
And we uncovered another profitable scheme for car dealers. Some of them will write you a car loan with an inflated interest rate much higher than you could get at most banks.
Back at Cerritos Nissan, we've now been there for 4 hours because Quillen, the sales manager, keeps pushing us.
What will it take?
Even though we're exhausted.
I'm like so dizzy.
And starving.
So I'm so hungry.
And about to pass out.
I'm about to faint right now.
When they finally showed us a contract, we noticed we were getting an inflated interest rate.
So my APR is 11.33.
You know what a lady like you usually charge for a 72-month contract? They usually charge you about 19.
19%? Our undercover shopper got loans for about 8% at 2 local banks. And at Miller Nissan in Van Nuys, where we went to buy an Altima, it was a whopping 13.25%.
Why are they putting such a high interest rate on this?
Because they get extra profit from doing that.
And that brings us back to Cerritos Nissan, where it's now dark, and our undercover shoppers are eating candy for dinner because Quillen has been working them over for 6 hours.
What'll it take? Tell me.
That's part of the strategy, is to wear you down, keep you there till you're really tired so you won't notice stuff like that they've slipped in your contract.
By now, our car buyer is about to collapse.
You're about to pass out. You're uncomfortable. Maybe we should go get something to eat.
But that doesn't stop Quillen's boss from sitting down and pushing her even more.
Let's see if this changes your mind.
We decided to call it quits. But Quillen hasn't seen the last of us.
We talk to you for a minute. I'm Joel Grover with Channel 2. How are you?
Hi, Joel.
We went back to Cerritos Nissan with cameras in full view. But they hustled Quillen away.
We'll be right with you, sir.
And hustled us to see the general manager, Peter Feiss.
I'm not going to try to make excuses.
We asked him about those huge monthly payments.
$725.
Mathematically, it's impossible. I still don't understand that.
And what about the 6.5 long hours they kept us there?
I'm about to faint right now.
If a customer says she's about to faint, shouldn't they let her go?
100%. Absolutely.
And he absolutely said he'll be having a long talk with Quillen and the rest of his staff.
I can assure you that everybody will learn a valuable lesson from this.
As for the other dealers in tonight's story, we asked Miller Nissan and Star Ford to explain those overcharges, but they never got back to us. The head of South Bay Toyota said his salesman violated company policy the way he treated us, and he might be disciplined.
There is heavy fallout tonight from our 3-month investigation into Southern California car dealerships. Because of our reports, more car buyers are getting refunds from at least one major dealership.
All day long, customers are showing up at Gunderson Chevrolet to demand refunds for money they think they were overcharged. You going to give these people their money back too?
If that's what they have coming, yes.
It began for these customers when they saw our first undercover report.
That's the exact same way we were treated. I had to call my husband at work. I'm saying, look at Chilla too, you know? Look what they're doing, he says. That's just how they did us.
Marlise Clopton bought this car at Gunderson last February. They promised her a 15% loan, but we showed her how they socked her with 25%. And they added thousands of dollars of options and an extended warranty she didn't want.
We work hard. My husband works 2 jobs, I work 1. Come on.
Marlise isn't alone in her anger toward California's largest Chevrolet dealership. How many people here think they were overcharged? But for now, furious customers are the least of this dealership's worries. Last Friday, 15 agents from the Department of Motor Vehicles raided Gunderson Chevrolet. Now DMV investigators are working overtime examining those contracts, looking for a pattern of fraud. Back at the dealership, angry customers are showing up every hour. These salesmen promised them they had nothing to do with the fraud in the finance department.
I'm not involved in this, and I don't have no authorization to go into finance.
But they'll still have to deal with customers like Harry and Annette Gordon, who watched our first story.
I watched the whole segment and I was shocked.
Shocked because he went and reread the contract for his new Blazer. And he realized Gunderson had jacked up his interest rate and sold him options they didn't want.
We had originally bought the car for $16,000. We ended up paying almost $30,000 for the car.
So the customers keep pouring into Gunderson Chevrolet.
Everybody can come into my office one by one.
The Gordons left Gunderson thousands of dollars richer.
We wrote us a new contract. And thank you guys for letting us know.
And remember Marlise Clopton?
I feel a lot better now that there is justice.
She's leaving Gunderson with 2 checks totaling $2,000.
Thank you.
A lot of you are now wondering if you were ripped off in the process when you bought your car. And that's why we have teamed up with the Department of Motor Vehicles to handle your question. Joel Grover joins us now live from a special phone bank that we have set up here at CBS2 with the investigators. How's it going tonight, Joel?
It has been very busy this evening. The reason we're doing this, we've received about 1,000 emails and phone calls here at Channel 2 since we began our reports on Sunday night. So we have all these DMV investigators here to take your calls about buying and leasing cars. 6 of these investigators speak Spanish. They've been here all night long since about 4 in the afternoon. They have taken 1,200 calls so far.
State authorities could be shutting down one of California's largest car dealerships, now accused of cheating hundreds of customers. This unprecedented action is a result of Joel Grover's undercover investigation last May. Joel joins us now with late developments in his investigation, what some car dealers don't want you to know. Joel?
Well, the Department of Motor Vehicles is trying to send a loud and clear message that it won't tolerate fraud at car dealerships. The DMV has now filed these charges against the biggest Chevrolet dealership in the state, accusing it of ripping off over 1,500 car buyers. It's business as usual at Gunderson Chevrolet, but the dealership could soon be forced to shut its doors, at least temporarily, because the state has formally charged Gunderson with fraud and misrepresentation.
No matter the size of the dealership, if fraud exists, the Department of Motor Vehicles will prosecute.
It was last May that the DMV seized 20 cabinets of contracts from Gunderson as a result of our CBS2 undercover report. After our investigation, the DMV did its own investigation. The result are these charges, in which the state accuses Gunderson of routinely padding customers' contracts with options and then forging the customers' signatures to make it look like they'd agreed to those options. The DMV says it's happened to over 1,500 customers.
Potentially, they could have their license revoked in the state of California.
Or the DMV could temporarily suspend Gunderson's license for a few days or weeks, or issue the dealership a large fine.
A judge will hear the state's case against Gunderson in April, and no one from Gunderson Chevrolet would talk to us about these charges. Finally, the LA County District Attorney is pursuing a separate case against Gunderson Chevrolet. Sources tell us the DA could settle its case with Gunderson this month, resulting in hundreds or thousands of customers getting refunds.